An elite force of 600 armed black soldiers marched in total silence through the South Carolina midnight, completely surrounded a luxury plantation fortress, kicked the heavy oak doors off their hinges, and forced 11 cowering Ku Klux Klan terrorists down onto their knees at gunpoint. This is the explosive, unfiltered history of Captain Jim Williams and the black militias that crushed the Klan. To understand the absolute magnitude of this victory, you have to completely flush the whitewashed school textbooks down the drain. The system loves to condition you to believe that after the Civil War, newly freed black Americans were just passive, helpless victims who spent the Reconstruction era weeping in the dark, waiting for white politicians to save them. But the authentic military registries reveal a history of raw, organized black power that struck absolute terror into the hearts of the white establishment. The year was 1865. The Confederacy had been completely shattered, and 4 million black souls were legally declared free. But across the South, unrepentant Confederate veterans refused to accept their defeat. They launched a cowardly underground guerrilla war, forming a secret terrorist society called the Ku Klux Klan. For 5 long years, the Klan rode through the midnight darkness under white hoods, burning black schools, lynching political organizers, and whipping black landowners to ensure they remained dependent, uneducated field labor. But our ancestors did not just endure this nightmare. They counterattacked. In several southern states, particularly in South Carolina, black men did the one thing white supremacists feared most. They pooled their resources, organized, and formed their own official, state-sanctioned military militias. These weren't unorganized vigilante mobs. These were legal, uniformed state guard companies commanded by brilliant black officers like Robert Smalls, Prince Rivers, and a fearless former slave named Captain Jim Williams. By 1870, the South Carolina State Militia was majority black. Men who had been legally categorized as peace-of-mind property just 5 years prior were now wearing pristine military uniforms, holding state-issued rifles, and carrying the legal authority to interrogate and arrest white terrorists. The white establishment completely lost its mind. Segregated newspapers went into hyper-hysterics, printing racist cartoons of black soldiers and screaming that Negro rule would result in the massacre of white families. But Captain Jim Williams wasn't interested in revenge. He was executing a clinical strategy of national defense. The tension boiled over in October of 1871 in York County, South Carolina. The local Klan had brutally lynched a black militia member, leaving his body swinging as a psychological warning for the community to disarm. The system expected the black community to break. Instead, Captain Jim Williams stood up and decided to end the Klan permanently. Williams mustered his company, 600 disciplined, armed black men. They executed a midnight march through the pitch-black woods with absolute military precision. No torches, no shouting, just the steady rhythm of combat boots hitting the dirt. Their target was the plantation headquarters of a notorious local Klan leader who had been openly bragging about murdering black families. Williams's men flooded the property, instantly locking down a flawless tactical perimeter around the mansion. There was no escape. They launched an all-out assault on the front doors, splintering the wood. The very same Klansmen who had spent years terrorizing defenseless women and children suddenly woke up staring straight down the heavy steel barrels of rifles held by disciplined black soldiers who had every legal right to be there. Williams and his men dragged 11 elite Klansmen out into the night yard in their bedclothes, bound their hands in iron, and marched them straight into federal custody. Not a single civilian shot had to be fired. The operation was so terrifyingly efficient that it shattered the illusion of white invincibility overnight. Within weeks, black militia units across the state launched parallel operations, arresting entire dens of terrorists. Wherever black soldiers actively patrolled, Klan violence didn't just drop, it plummeted by an undisputed 90%. Under President Ulysses S. Grant's Ku Klux Klan Act, black captains at federal courtrooms looked their former masters in the eye from the witness stand, named names, and sent hundreds of masked terrorists straight to federal prison. The original Ku Klux Klan did not disappear because white America developed a moral conscience. The original Klan was completely dissolved and crushed because black militias defeated them militarily on the ground. But when the white northern industrial elite saw images of armed black men arresting white veterans, they grew profoundly uncomfortable with the shift in racial power. The federal government completely betrayed the movement, withdrawing troops, cutting funding, and allowing corrupt white Redeemer politicians to fraudulently seize local offices. The very first thing these white governments did was pass the earliest strict gun control laws in Southern history. explicitly designed to disarm black families and make black self-defense completely illegal the moment it became effective. Captain Jim Williams was assassinated in 1872, his killers protected by the newly rigged legal system. Then came the final historical crime. The textbooks spent the next 150 years completely erasing the victory, teaching our children that Reconstruction failed because black people were too ignorant to govern, rather than admitting that black armies had successfully brought peace by executing terrorists. I want to hear from your community down in the comments section right now. Why does the modern educational system continue to market our history as a chronological timeline of uninterrupted trauma, while completely burying the blueprints of the armed, organized black fortresses that brought the white establishment to its knees? Did you know the true history of how black militias crushed the original KKK before today? Comment yes or no. Hit that share button right now to ensure this victory is broadcasted across the globe, and follow Black History Unfiltered. We don't just tell the past. We bring back the giants who prove that freedom is never granted by permission, it is defended at the gate.